Well, hello, Kristen.
Well, hello, Laura.
It's time for Southern Charm. Are they
Episode
charming?
11. Is it almost done?
Are they charming, these people?
No.
I'm not finding any charm on Southern Charm.
No. All I keep thinking about when I'm watching Southern Charm now is how Craig and Paige broke up.
I know.
Because it's like, do you see how much it's in the news?
God, it's everywhere, and it's
every day about how
Paige
Paige didn't cheat and Craig is lying,
and it's turned into something.
And they're doing interviews about, and you got the Summer House cast like Ciara, who's recently on virtual reality with Evan and Danny.
Oh,
And she was saying how, Paige transformed Craig and it was a lot of work for her and he was a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. I get that was a lot of work.
Okay.
At the same time,
he wouldn't be where he was without her. I mean, I get it.
He would have figured it out.
I don't think he was that much of a mess.
He wasn't.
When
he just
met
needed
Paige.
he needed any woman. Maybe not Paige. Maybe Paige was a little bit more aggressive, but he needed a woman to put him into shape, like quit the drinking.
Yeah.
But most women would have done that.
I think he just was in love with her and he wanted to be a better man for her.
Right. But
that's the feeling I got.
Shep quotes, "You make me want to be a better man." And I was like, are we as good as it gets here?
I know, that was a famous line from Good as It Gets.
He's stealing it off of Nicholson 20 years ago. I'm like, can we? All right, let's talk about delusional shepherd. Oh my God.
Is he in Gaga land, Love Land?
Complete, this is a land of confusion. That's all I was thinking of. I wanted to say delusion. He comes down dressed. Well, first he's really mad that he's not had sex with her, right? Sienna's going to help me get dressed.
But wait, have they ever had? They've had to have sex in the past,
yeah,
right?
Like
they had a little thing
together.
Yeah, okay.
But like at the end of the day,
this trip
you thought
is
she was going to come over. I like his little, she's going to help me get dressed. Why do you need her to help you get dressed? You figured she was going to help you get undressed and then you'd get redressed.
Yeah.
And he was like, when she walked, like, okay, I'll wait downstairs. And he was like, no, no.
I think Shep is in love with the chase.
And he's in love
and she is giving him a run for his money.
He's in love with the sex and the bang of it. Like, he's not in love with her. He doesn't even know her.
I know. How long have they been dating at this point?
6 weekends.
Oh, forget it.
Come on.
No,
this is nothing.
He's infatuated, but again, I think he's more enthralled with that she's giving him such a hard time.
I could not be less impressed with Shep.
Nah. Yeah, not really impressed at all. I don't know what
says
he's
we
doing.
haven't seen each other in a month and a half, and Shep is acting so clingy and so icky and so weird and so needy
and desperate.
Ick. And
she senses the desperation from him, and it's probably turning her off
and
more.
He's old, as Whitney so eloquently put it at his mother's party. So the overlying issue is that you're not rich enough. You're not cute enough. You're not rich enough. And that seems to be the problem. You're not charming enough. Like, you're not anything enough.
No.
Oh.
So what is it with this Sienna? I mean, is she looking for like a billionaire? Is that her mission?
She's Miss Bahamas. She has something to offer. Like, she's a young girl. Like, the point is she's on Raya because of that. Like, you have to be... It's not that you're looking for a millionaire. You're looking for like that website is other people that are celebrities and so forth. Like,
is that I don't know anything about Raya.
That's what
it's like high standing status.
Right.
People.
That you might want to meet if you're looking for somebody who is a celebrity or a B-list, a D-list, a C-list, something in that range.
So you have to basically audition to get on Raya. Like, you can't just join Raya.
No,
you got to be.
No,
you got to be.
I remember
accepted.
Back in the day when I was dating in LA, like there was it was called Millionaire Match.
Okay.
But you had to be invited to be on it. Like somebody invited me on it.
Okay, got it.
It's probably like the same thing.
Okay. Then. Understood. And then Craig was comparing Shep and Sienna to 90 Day Fiancé.
Greg watches enough 90 Day Fiancé to know that it doesn't exist. He watches it up. Oh, by the way, he did such a Craig line. I was going to call you and say, listen to Craig say what when they were at that fish fry place, he said something like, and it sounded exactly like my impression. I'm like, see, that's the Craig that I hear no matter what he says.
I know. You're the best Craig impression.
So Sheppy says they started out hot. We talked about our kids. And then she didn't know that he felt that way.
Of course she knows he feels this way. I think she's just putting on an act at
Of
this
course.
point.
She's no
It's so
dummy.
ridiculous. And
Shep
there's
says
nothing interesting about her. Like, she's not bringing anything.
he's just banged her 6
You know?
times and he wants to bang her another 6.
Okay.
And live in the Bahamas in the white sand.
Yeah.
Shep says you make me want to be a better man. We all heard that again in As Good as It Gets, okay? Because Nicholson won the Oscar. And I'm wildly, wildly attracted to you.
And in love with you.
All right. You're not in love.
Aw.
He's really conjured this up in his own head.
Yeah, he has.
I'm worried. Like, I'm worried for him watching this episode.
Yeah.
Like, does he have early onset something?
I don't know. He's just
Early
acting
onset
so
relationship,
strange.
Shep. Early onset relationship. That's what he's got.
Relationship. That's the name of his Instagram
Yes,
handle.
and that was the name of.
Relationship.
Excuse me, that was the name of his TV show, Relationship, when he was on there trying to find a girl.
Oh my God.
Come on, did you watch
I
Relationship?
did not. I didn't even. When was that on?
Oh, it was on like maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
Relationship.
It was like, was it a Bravo show?
Yes.
Oh God, I can't
Oh,
believe where
yeah.
have I been?
Oh,
Was it
you're-
one season thing?
You're working. You're busy.
I gotta get.
He
on
doesn't
that.
know where they stand, but now she knows. And Shep says, "Let's hold it right there. We have to go out now and join the others for dinner."
Right, and she can't wait to get away from
Of
this
course,
conversation.
she's like, "Is he gonna whip out his penis, like, just junk it on the table, like he
Oh my
wanted
God.
to?"
Yeah.
And then it's so funny when when they got to dinner and then he pulled out the chair for Sienna. Madison's like, ew, ew, no. Like when Shep tries to be romantic, she's like,
I was like,
ew.
ew. Well, I love how Madison tells Sienna Shep is nervous because she plays hard to get. Like, Madison just lets it all out. you
Yeah, I
know?
like Madison.
I love how she just like gets right to the point with things.
Oh,
So.
wait, maybe it was this one where Shep was like, they were ordering and Craig's like, we got some seafood towers.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And Craig is allergic to little Craig. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that either. They don't like each other, Craig and little Craig. But I didn't know he was allergic to him.
Little Craig. Austin and Shep go to the bar. And of course, he's
Yes.
talking delusion. So
Yeah.
now Sienna jumps over and starts talking to the girls.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and Sienna said, am I playing hard to get or am I hard to get?
Okay.
She said that.
Okay. So, maybe.
Interesting. I think Sienna was
she
trying to
asked-
be nice.
Probably. She was trying to be like a little witty and funny and nice. Madison just comes right out
I
and
know.
asks her, are you and Shep
That was so
actually
funny. Are you guys
together?
actually together?
And she just doesn't answer.
And then
She
Sienna
says,
said,
maybe, whatever.
She said, well, we never had this conversation. We never said we'd be exclusive.
Yeah.
And then Taylor's laughing. I
She's like,
love
"I'm
that
enjoying this."
Taylor. Oh my God. She's just loving watching
She's taking this in like, this is not my circus anymore.
And
So-
she's like, basically, Taylor's like, he's making this up in his head.
Yeah.
Like, clearly,
Mhm.
she's interested to see how this is going to play out. But it's so great because I feel like we're seeing the normal Taylor. Like,
Yeah,
she's
she is
enjoying
showing
this.
her normal side in this episode.
Yeah, she's just a
Yeah.
bystander and she's enjoying the
she's
show.
just,
She said, oh, I'm
okay.
enjoying the show. But good for her. And I think she's enjoying watching him suffer.
I think she is.
But the fact that he could be so out there and doing this in front of her when they were so serious, do you know what I mean? It just shows how
yeah, I know.
completely self-centered and a
He's so
complete
self-centered,
narcissist
Shep.
that he is.
Yes, he is. He really is. I mean, there's a soft spot I always kind of have for Shep.
I do a little,
you know,
but
I like him,
after
and I don't
watching
think
him-
he's got a. He's a good heart, but he is a bit of a
kind
narcissist.
Sometimes he can be a dick
but
too,
and he's
though.
very self-centered.
And he can be a dick.
Yeah,
So Shep's telling Austin that she wants to continue to talk about our future.
yeah.
And then Shep said, Shep said to Austin, she said, she missed me. And then they cut to the clip of them walking there. And he said, did you miss me? And she said, I'll see. Like, no, she didn't say she missed you. Like,
She keeps playing
he's so
coy.
delusional when she's speaking straight to him. Like,
Yeah.
she's saying it without saying it.
Yes.
And she's also on TV. That's got to be weird for her to have cameras following them.
Well, that might be part of why she's acting the way she does. She might be. I mean, she's in
Sure, she's
Bahamas
not
and
used
everything,
to-
but she's just very uncomfortable being
You
on.
don't have a
on
camera
TV.
following you around 24/7.
Yeah, that I think she's just not comfortable.
And
with
Sienna
that.
said
to her defense. a
Yeah,
little
and then
bit, I do
Sienna
think.
says
like,
that
I'm
they're
not going to pour
both-
my heart out to somebody on in front of these
Right.
cameras.
And then Sienna says they're both non-committal.
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's kind of the fun part of it. Like
Right.
that's me.
But, I mean, look, for Sienna, she's 26 years old. Her whole life is ahead of her. She's got
gonna
a
settle
million things
down
going for her.
with Johnny Alcoholic.
So she's going to go for the alcoholic that lives in Charleston. Who shakes, and I just don't.
Oh, but she's been out all over social media talking about, I just saw her.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I heard about that.
So basically she said about the whole thing, her reaching out to Whitney, she said she was matched with him and all he did was, she goes, first of all, he's a liar. She's like, because he looks nothing like his picture. So when she met him,
so the picture's like 20 years ago?
She had no idea who it was. And she said all he did was say, hi, how are you? And she said, hi, how are you back? That was it. That was the extent of anything. So she's like, to think that I went after him or sought him out was crazy. Okay. And she said Shep made himself out to be just like this really nice Southern boy who likes to fish.
Oh, okay.
And we just kind of said, he liked to travel and I like to travel and maybe we'll meet up in the world somewhere. Okay. Like that's kind of how it went.
So she wasn't this super fan like everyone's saying she
that they're trying to say.
All right, so I don't know where that came from.
Well, she's basically out there saying, none of that was
She
true.
Didn't even know really these guys? Okay, then I give her a pass.
And she said, Shep, when they got back to the table, he's like, oh, you guys talked? And they were like, yeah, we didn't just sit there and stare at her. Like, yeah,
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean,
and Madison says straight to Shep. That was kind of funny. Sienna doesn't like you. And then she goes home because she had a stomach ache.
Yeah, they go to party in the hotel room and she goes home. So everyone's hungover the next day.
Sheppy wakes up.
Shep sent this cringy text.
Oh, the cringe text.
Oh, it was hard to listen to.
Cringe city.
Look, if you know that's going to get reciprocated, fine. But that's not getting reciprocated.
Well, it was something to the effect of, I'm not going to try and convince someone to love me for 3 days when I know deep down they do. It's like, don't tell her what she knows, right? Here's hoping you understand my feelings and exalt them.
Oh God,
Shep,
I love his $10 words.
Don't try to throw in your $10 exalt word on this text. He's gonna be like, you exalt them. And I was like, you use exalt.
What is he writing, a sonnet?
Idiot. Exactly.
I don't know.
I know you agree and feel the way that I do because I've heard it from your perfect little freckled lips. And then I write, you are nasty.
You're
Shep.
weird.
Like ick. My TED Talk is over. We all understand. We've all heard the TED Talk line. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Blah, blah, blah. Shep is clearly a ripper-offer of all things, like from the ether. And ew. And he's like, we will have the last laugh and all the things that matter. What are you talking about, Shep?
I just think he couldn't possibly fathom someone not being into him.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's like he just can't even fathom it. Like, oh no, there's no way she's into me. Everyone
and
then
is Austin's
into me.
Laying in bed like he's like, you're making me cringe for you now.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to shrivel up and die for him, and I want to evaporate into the Bahamian sky. I was like, Austin actually said something amusing.
Yes.
And of course, she hadn't answered the text.
Yeah, I know. Oh God.
Right?
Ugh. I don't think she answered the text, and then they wind up talking on the phone. But
right,
we'll
they walked on the phone, right?
And she kind of bails out of that too. So,
well, it's like, then he says to Craig, well, maybe we can copy that. So basically, then it goes down to Craig. He's trying to tell Craig about it, and Craig's like, well, it was a valiant effort, champ, but I don't think so. And then.
Oh, boy.
She calls. He says, Sienna called. She still hadn't answered. So he's like, did you get my kind of heartfelt but intense message? And she's like, yeah, it was intense. Yeah. And then, he's going snorkeling and the others are going to the fish fry.
And she wants to go to the fish fry.
She wants to go to the fish fry. He's like, Craig's like, why would she want to go and not hang out with you, go snorkeling? He's like, but she comes with us because she doesn't want to hang out with you. And he's like, don't be so cutthroat, Craig.
Right.
You're not like that. I was like,
but I like that Craig is calling it out. I mean, it's true.
It's cringe city.
It really is. But anyway, so she said she isn't coming. She tells Shep the text was really intense. She's just so distant with him, and then Shep is feeling like he's on uncharted waters.
Exactly.
And he looks heartbroken after that conversation because it turns out she doesn't even go to the fish fry. She's not going at all.
We'll just hang out tomorrow, and Shep's like, and
then I'm leaving.
Shep's like, I'm just gonna go look at the fishies. Like he's having a bad day. Shep's bad day. Again, he's only jerking off 2 times instead of 7. That's Shep's bad day.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the side, Molly has this thing for Shep.
Oh,
and
Molly,
I
I know.
think they make sense, but he's not even paying
Are you
attention to her right
kidding?
now.
He's like, what?
No, I
She's
know.
like, maybe I could be the right person for
Yeah, I do
her.
feel bad for her.
She's so incredibly awkward. I've never seen somebody
is awkward,
as awkward as Molly, but she does own her awkwardness.
She does own it. Yes,
she
I like
really
that.
owns it.
Yeah,
but she's so damn awkward.
Yeah.
And then Taylor's there, who was his like major
know.
relationship. It's like he doesn't even see her.
Oh God.
You know. But anyway,
now did Taylor? Oh yeah, Taylor, Molly, and Shep and Ryan. You know Ryan, right? I like him.
That's
I don't really know
husband.
No, I think he's somebody else's husband.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
he's
the guy, not Rodrigo's
I have
husband,
no idea who he is.
He is gay. I like him. He's kind of on the side, but he's got a cheerful disposition.
They're trying. I don't know who he's. All of a sudden, Whitney, Ryan, and Vanita arrive, and it's like, but where is JT? Where is JT?
I know. I
love
think Whitney
Vanita.
was saying earlier that she had lost her passport. That's why she arrived late.
And the other two missed their flight.
And then they wound up on the same flight together.
I don't understand this whole thing.
Yeah, they were on a standby. I don't know, something about a standby fight. But Madison is ready for things to blow up if and when JT comes. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm not trying to be a mean girl, but I just don't know. And then they go there at the fish fry. And then, of course, Shep. Wait, what was? Oh, Shep and Craig are eating. And I love Craig's like, how's your mind? Or something. And he reads Craig the text.
Yeah.
Oh, we already talked about this whole thing. We already talked about this whole thing. And he says, wow, don't be so cutthroat and all that.
But it was when they go to the fish fry. This is Craig, Rodrigo, Austin,
that's
Vanita,
what I meant to
and
say,
Sally. Right. They say that, or was it Craig that said that Sienna gave off bad vibes?
Yeah. And then
he
didn't
Craig
like
says
that.
she has bad energy.
Yeah, it's funny because he said the minute she walked into the room, I was like, I better go check on the reservation. He's like, he didn't like her. He couldn't even pop his bottle of champagne. He was so like, and I'm like, wow, that's weird because she didn't come off as like this weirdo person.
No,
but then
she didn't come off like having bad vibes. She was just like standoffish.
She was weirded out, right? Because like, what is this guy? He's bringing all his friends down here. We've hung out a few times.
Yeah.
And then Austin chimes in and he says he doesn't like a friend kicking another friend when they're down, meaning Craig kicking Shep when he's down.
Yeah.
But Craig said he's not going to enable his delusional friend.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. Or maybe I said that. I'm not sure.
But it sounds about right. Like something Craig would say anyway. But looks like Shep is like just moping on the beach after they do their snorkeling. And Taylor's there to sort of support him.
Well, but Taylor's also enjoying watching him squirm. And he's like, even you, Taylor, when they were sitting after, and he's like, thanks for being here, guys, or whatever. And she's like, even you, Taylor. Like, he just remembered in that moment, like, oh, right.
Yeah.
I dated her for 2 years, and she wanted to get married, and I broke her heart.
Yeah.
But she's acting, I said to myself, like, she's acting more like cool Taylor, and it's so nice to see.
It is
like
refreshing.
if she was acting like this, like, I'd be like, great.
Yeah.
Taylor's in.
Yeah,
I know. What I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know?
I think he's in a haze right now, but if he sees through this haze, I think the one that was really meant for him probably was Taylor. She really loved him.
Yeah.
And that might have been his first very serious relationship.
He blew it.
He totally blew it.
And I just enjoyed that when they were at the fish fry, that Austin wants the chicken in a bag. Chicken in a bag.
That sounds good, actually.
It does sound good.
It looked like the food there was very good.
And then poor Molly's so awkward again. She said, maybe I'd be a better match for him. But she's like, I don't know. I was like, oh, God, Molly.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it's nice that, he's got fans still, I guess.
And then Austin says he's never seen Shep like this.
Yeah.
And Austin and Craig will, he said Craig always wants to make it out like he's rooting for everybody.
Yeah.
But he feels like deep down, Austin himself has more empathy for Shep rather than Craig, because
I think that's true.
Because Craig's so in charge of his emotions now, because Craig doesn't drink, and he's like, but you flipped out, you wigged out when we got there, and you were gonna have to share a room. You know what I mean? Like, relax, trying to say you're in charge of all your emotions there, Craig. And then because they walk to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Madison.
Him and Madison, and he's saying that Austin does not like him.
Right. He's like, he hates me.
He hates me. I can tell. The friendship group got fractured. Austin hates him. He can see it in his face.
He says
Craig
he twinges
says the
every
Band-Aid
time
on their friendship has started to come off.
Yeah, he says he twinges like every time. And so it was that thing when he said that she had the bad vibes, and he was like, don't kick my friend when he's down.
Yeah.
Kind of, and don't say you're so in charge of your emotions. He was kind of reading in between the lines of what Craig was saying.
Right.
Because, you're trying to make it like, oh, you don't drink now, so you're Mr. And meanwhile, you wig out when you don't get the biggest hotel room. So.
Craig, I think, and I will say this, because I always say I like Craig. I really
like Craig.
Very,
He's
very much.
Dealing.
But he got... not that he got bigger than the show, but his career is like all the way like vroom, right? So his career really took off. He's with Paige. He's his power couple at that time.
Right.
And I think that he's getting away from this whole friend group, and I'm a little older than this. I am beyond this. That's how I think that he is. And I also think that Paige does not like Austin. So Craig is kind of distancing himself from Austin because Paige doesn't like Austin because Austin broke Sierra's heart. It's like a whole thing.
It's so all intertwined. And again, Austin, the way that he treated Sierra, oh my God.
And that is Paige's best
and Lindsay
friend.
And any other woman that he's ever been with. And Madison. And Olivia. He's just serial, man. He's just beta.
Yeah, he is.
Ugh. And now
he's still not out of the party boy phase. Craig is well beyond the party boy phase. So it's just they're on different levels right now.
I agree.
But I will say this. I think that right now, Austin's probably being a very good friend to Craig. And he probably needs that.
Of course.
Because of what's going on with this whole breakup. And you always have to lean on your friends.
Of course. When things are going south.
Yes.
Down in Southern Job. You see what I did there? South, Southern.
Now, I just find it, and we'll talk about Summer House in a minute, but I do find it interesting, again, that we're watching things unfold on Southern Charm, and we're going to see the Paige side of it on Summer House. So I do like the parallels that we're seeing.
Should we should we get into a little Summer House now?
Yeah, you want to just cover that?
Yeah, let's just get in there.
Let's get in there because
Summer House.
Kind of interconnected.
Yeah, it is. So let's get into Summer House now.
Let's do it. Episode 2.
Carl shows up, Mr. Radke. He's a walking skeleton.
He's a walking skeleton, and I'm going to say it again. I have a soft spot for Carl.
I do too.
I really feel for this guy. I don't think he's got a bad bone in his body.
I don't think he's a bad guy at all.
No, I do not.
I just think that Carl...
I am rooting for him in a way.
Oh, I'm definitely rooting for him.
Yeah.
And by the way, even though she annoys the piss out of me, I'm rooting for Lindsay too.
Same.
And she's going to end up on Real. We know she's ending up.
I was going to say, I'm reading more and more about this.
They say
they're making a case for. I would love to.
She
see
says
her
it's
on
top
there.
of mind. The big execs at Bravo, what to do with me. If they don't put her on there, it'd be stupid.
I think it would be stupid. And she's not a villain. I won't call her that. But
no,
I think you put someone like her in the mix with those ladies.
With Brynn. Her and Brynn are either going to be
that's going to be.
Either if Brynn comes back.
Epic.
If Brynn comes back, which I believe she will.
Okay.
They'll either be the thickest thieves in the world or they will go.
Well, they'll probably be thickest thieves and then they will hate each other.
Of course. It's one or the other.
It's going to be one or the other. And she and Sai might go at it like that too. So I think this is going to be fun to watch.
Lindsay is definitely an interesting person to watch.
She said herself she's good TV. She is good TV.
She is. So, all right. So there wasn't not a lot happened. I mean, the biggest thing that happened on Summer House was Carl was toweling off. Well, he came in. He was really nervous. And he didn't say anything to Lindsay because he didn't want to
make a scene.
Her. He wants to be respectful, which is so sweet.
I think he's a respectful guy.
And you know what? And I hear a lot out of West's mouth that he also wants to be respectful. Okay. I think they should be. I don't know that West is all that respectful. I don't think he's disrespectful, but I think Carl's really comes from that genuine place.
Yes.
Of I really want Lindsay to feel good and be good and not air our life. Mm-hmm. Let's not say it in front of everybody. Let's give it a minute.
Well, also, if we compare Carl to West for a second, Carl is a 40-year-old, very
course.
mature
West
individual.
is what, 28?
West is like 28,
Oh my
29.
God. Oh my
He's
God.
still
Just
a
a
boy.
bambini. Yeah.
He's a boy.
Oh,
So
he's
he's not even close to the maturity level that Carl is
absolutely
at
right.
to,
And
to think
Carl-
about a relationship.
You're right. And
Yeah.
Carl's been through so much with his brother passing away and with his
Yes.
addiction. And
How did his brother die of addiction? Is that what
he
happened?
did.
Okay.
Sadly.
See, I didn't watch Summer House. This happened on one of the previous
It happened
Summer
on the
House?
show. And then, of course,
Wow.
Lindsay and him, and she got him through it.
Oh,
And,
man.
he went to her first.
Because they were friends.
Yeah. So there's a lot there.
A lot of layers.
So he came in, and of course, we see the spark turned into a flame with, "This is the love of my life, Lexi. She gives me wood," to Carl Radke. She gives me.
I think they very naturally go together.
I
That's
mean,
how I see it.
I'm seeing
I don't know. They look
like
very good together.
Jesse with his.
It seems very easy.
Jesse with his pacifier mouth and his
Yeah.
like goofy. I don't know. They're all making fun of him, and I'm kind of agreeing. Like, he's got some weird game. I don't know. It's weird. As much as it works for him,
strange guy.
He's a stranger.
In a
He's
likable
stranger.
way.
Yeah, yes. Strange,
he's
but likable.
Quite likable.
Totally
And
likable.
he's perfect on the show.
And
he's
he
just
is.
a little strange.
He's great for the show.
Yeah,
I mean, he's cute.
He is.
But when you get to see these guys behind the scenes, they don't become that cute. That's why, like, it's funny that, like,
Yeah.
but even though he is, there's no denying he's a handsome guy.
Yeah,
of
course.
with a great
and
body.
he's
But
tall.
you see his dummy part of him, like, and he's like, they're looking out the window. He's like, "She does have a juicy booty," and then like they run back, they run away because here she comes.
Yes,
I mean, she's very gorgeous. I don't know, her body is sick.
She's gorgeous. I mean, she truly looks like a model.
She dated Brooklyn Beckham. She's like dates the nepo babies.
She did.
Yeah.
Okay.
She dated him. She's dated a few nepo babies.
She's an influencer, right? Is that what she does?
She was a model.
Other than and a model, right?
It's all the
whatever.
same influencer.
It's all the
model.
same stuff.
It's all the same shit.
Yeah.
But I'm laughing because I'm like, all right, and she likes him, and then the guys go out, whatever.
Yeah.
And poor Carl, they're all having espresso martinis, and then Carl's like with his soft drink, like, how are you guys? Like,
right.
And he's like, I can't believe we're not gonna be single together this summer. Like he's already like, I'm gonna date Lexi.
Yeah.
Gives me wood. Not Diane. Lexi gives me wood.
Yes.
Oh, one. And then he FaceTimes her in the car on the way back. And he's like,
very
"Did
cute.
you miss me?" And he's like, "I want to say no, but yeah." I'm like, he's such a goofball.
He's a goofball.
But it is cute.
But yeah, I think it's cute.
This is what we're tuning in to see. We're not
This is
tuning
silly
in to
TV,
see. Yeah, but
right?
it's silly, and we're not tuning in to see the darkness.
No, there's no darkness.
There's no
really.
Reba. There's no Reba in this episode.
Thank
There's
God.
no Sutton's issues.
No.
Like this is what you're tuning into
There's
Summer
no
House
heavy
to
topics
see.
here.
Thank you. And it was
Yeah.
heavy enough with Carl and Lindsay and all that.
Yes.
And this and this and that. I mean, it is people's lives, but at the end of the day, thank God for some levity.
Yeah,
some
of course.
lightness. Not leva, but levity.
Levity.
So they get back, and then what happens? Oh, then
Okay,
Carl, so he towels off in the kitchen. And
Okay.
he's like, finally says something to Lynn.
Yeah, and look, it was awkward.
Of course.
But Lindsay was being a little standoffish, but it was cordial.
He's like,
thought.
"Hey, Lindsay," and
Yeah.
she's like, "Hey, Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Hi, Carl." And she's like, "Hi," and he's like, "Listen, I just want to say congratulations." And she's like, "Thank you." And she's like, and then she's just like, "What I said on the basketball court, just not for anything, but that I might be pregnant this time next year," which she is.
Yes, that's right.
What fascinates me about Lindsay, and I wish I had more of this in me, True, like,
Right.
the woman has an agenda for her life.
Oh, yeah.
And she
makes
will
it
cut
happen.
it and stop. Like she is not wasting any time. Like the fact that like she wanted that baby, she made that happen. Like she's like, he's not my problem anymore. I've moved on. Like the ability for her to move on so quick is
quite quick.
Truly fascinating.
She's willful.
Yes.
Like she's so willful.
You know what that's called? You're very right with willful. And another word, what I would use for her, she's got constitution.
Okay.
Like, you know, like, like she's leading the charge. And no wonder why her and Carl didn't work.
Yeah.
Carl?
No, he doesn't. He's just not that way.
You know, he's like
yeah,
taking his time to make it work.
Yeah.
And now he's got the soft.
Yes.
And he's got the thigh.
And he wants a hug.
And he wants it. She's like, now he can go get his tighter hugs, his tenderness, and his lovey-doveyness from someone else.
Yes.
Because clearly I couldn't give it to him. You know, clearly I couldn't. So, but it was just like, yeah, I've moved on. Like, whoa, I don't know that I could do that so quick. But granted, they don't have any kids. I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
I mean, they were going to get married, but there's nothing binding them that she can cut it.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a kid. It's not like they had a baby.
Yeah, no.
And they have to.
Nothing is binding them together except Summer House right now.
Except Summer House.
Except Summer House. And I don't know if Carl is going to come back. I don't think Lindsay's coming back. We just talked about that before.
Oh, right. And
she's going to go to Roni.
Basically, I feel like the only other thing, and now tell me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like the only other thing of note was the thing, other than just like stupid, flirty, turtsy stuff in the middle, was Sierra and West at the table.
Well, here's what I'm going to say about that.
And they're in their chat.
Their chat. It broke the tension between Carl and Lindsay.
Yeah.
It took the focus completely off that.
They were like, Carl and
the
Lindsay
real focus, in a way,
two.
Carl can thank West for taking it off of Carl's shoulders.
Yeah, no, totally.
And Lindsay can thank Sierra because Sierra and West, it was pretty intense.
And talk about like
it was tense.
Not being prepared. Like talk about West just being like,
oh man, that guy. He's like I said, he's like a boy,
right?
like
I don't
a man
think he's
child.
Trying to be
he's
that
just not
big of a
maturely
dick.
ready.
But he's like his hair. First of all, there's like, what do you think of his hair? And she's like, it sucks.
It does.
She's
suck.
mad at. She's like, I was just getting more mad because I understand that when like you are saying something and you're getting nothing back on the other end. It's maddening.
It is maddening.
And she was just like, why couldn't you have just called it? Why did you have to put it out into the New York Times? She was like, we talked about all these things around Christmas. She didn't spend Christmas with her family. There was all this crap going on.
She poured her heart out.
And he mentioned that in the article somehow?
No, I think that it was, I kind of thought that too at first, but I think that it was, she poured her heart out and there was all this stuff going on and she really leaned on him. Then he cut her off and then he had an article in the New York Times. He had an interview and he was basically just like, oh, we just weren't right for each other. Right. So he kind of just dismissed her after she really like leaned and poured her heart onto him. She leaned
in and he was her person and she's like, we were friends first. And
yeah.
So then when she's confronting him, he's just like, great. Right in front of everybody.
Like, okay.
Kyle's like, we're such a close-knit family. It's like, I don't think you're that close-knit. Like, but you are. They want to be perceived that way because then it becomes better. That's the formula because that's the Vanderpump Rules formula. We're all so tight and la la la. But I mean, that was an interesting thing. And she's like, come on, guys, it's been this intense before. Like, it's not that intense. Like Sierra said, and Wes was just like, yeah.
But, I think I feel so much for Sierra because
I do too.
Even at the table when she's giving it to him pretty good and letting her know how she feels, when you get nothing back. And that she said, you're a loser. You're not responding.
Yeah.
She has nothing to work with.
Right. You're
like, I have nothing here. Like, oh my God.
Exactly. You're not.
And he's just got like his stupid bug eyes. Like,
right. Like he's just like, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, then when they go and they have their talk in the bedroom.
Yes.
See, this is where I'm like, West, put on a shirt. You're going to go have like, like to show up like naked, like you want to be respectful, go put on a shirt. Don't come in there with your nipples hanging out. I just was like, ew. Like
that's like his signature style on that show.
Ew. Like
the
I was
pool
just like,
look, whatever.
show some respect. Put on some clothes. Like you just show. It's like we don't live in the jungle.
Yeah.
Like
right. I know.
Like was he gonna have a grass skirt on, like or just a fig leaf over his dick, like.
And the hair did not help. Like, talking about Jungle Man. I mean, he looked better last season.
And I thought also was sweet the way Sierra was like, do I want to just hug him and be like the way we were and say it's all going to be okay?
Yeah,
like,
and there's that, she has that soft side,
yeah,
you know?
She's like, but he doesn't really give me, but she's like, couldn't we have just ended it that, like after we had drinks?
Yeah.
Like, why did you have to go and,
Yeah.
couldn't we have just ended it? And she's like, I'm not cursing the day that you were born. I'm not doing that. Like, so I think they kind of came to a resolution because he's like, does the whole summer have to be this way?
Yeah, at least I do give him credit for going into the room and talking to her. You know, at least he is making an effort there. Like, can we have a heart to heart now? So good. Right. I'm glad he did that.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll be off on better footing now.
And listen, I also think
maybe it'll be more cordial.
I also think Sierra too might be taking it a little too much. People date and not date all the time.
Of
it's
course.
just hard for her because she doesn't open up to anybody.
She doesn't. She keeps it close to the vest. We've said this many times. She did it on Traders too.
So I think
it's just
for
her
her,
personality.
but I don't think he did. Was all that. Okay, so they slept together a few times. Big deal.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, all right.
But I guess it is really hard when someone is gaga for you and they're gushing all over you and they're love bombing you and all that. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they do an about face.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It
it's really hard.
It is
and then
hard.
of course he threw salt right into that wound by doing this article. Now he says I think he said something like he thought the article was gentle.
Well, he
but
said,
it was still a dagger in her heart.
Well, and he was basically saying like, yeah, I just thought, okay, he's like, if I knew it would have caused this, I would have never done it. Yeah. But he was also saying that like he felt like he's been in defend mode for so long that when somebody says, do you want to tell your side of the story?
Yeah.
Well, okay. And I'm shocked that the New York Times would do that article.
Well, I think that I'm shocked too, but he made a pretty decent splash last year and he was brand new to reality TV.
Yeah,
I don't think he's ever, he has like, he was wet behind the ears.
Yeah, but he was splashed and
he made he was like a fan
himself.
Favorite.
Yeah.
Right?
But he made trouble for himself.
So I think they
right
were
away.
like, oh, an up and comer on Bravo. It's is his last name Wilson?
Whatever. Yeah, it is, I think.
Okay, so it's West. So we're going to do an article on him and he's like a New Yorker and like the whole thing, right?
Right.
But yeah, like he made but again, he soured terribly after breaking up with Sarah, the reunion.
In one. It had to be a lot for him to be loved and hated simultaneously.
Exactly.
At the same time, plus being new, because he's like, this has just been like, whoa.
He isn't used to TV. I don't think he's used to this reality TV.
You couldn't possibly know what it is until you're in it.
Exactly. And
even
it's hard.
Who have watched it and know, you still couldn't even imagine being involved in it because you feel like the whole world is against you.
Yes.
If you're, as Sierra said, when you're up, you're up. When you're down, you're down.
Yeah.
That's what she meant.
Yes.
And you don't know how that is because you've never been in it before.
You've got people like Ciara and Paige who will cut you down to pieces with the way their attitudes are. You are with some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So it is a tough audience.
The thing is, they're well rested. They spend a lot of time in bed.
They are in
and
bed
when they have to come out and attack, they've been asleep for like the last 3 weeks.
Oh, they're revving
so
up.
They are ready to go. They've got a lot of freaking energy. So that is that. So I feel like that was the entire episode in a nutshell.
Pretty much. I mean, the only other thing I was going to touch on was it was nice to see that Lexi and Jesse kind of bonded a little bit about their past.
Oh, right. About
like
his
Lexi
cancer.
talked about losing her best friend.
Jeremy.
And Jesse talked about his testicular cancer. And they kind of bonded a little tighter.
I wonder, I'm surprised he didn't be like, do you want to see my one nut?
Yeah, right. I was curious.
Would you like to meet my one nut?
But they did have a decent makeout session there. Maybe she did see it.
I was like, and I don't know if that's like a little cheesy because I feel like, shouldn't he be taking her out first before that? Like, I don't know. It just
I
seems,
think he can't get his hands off her like right away. And she's already.
The way he was touching her, like right away.
Yeah.
The way he was touching her chest and stuff, like that's super intimate. That's like couples who have been together, like touching.
Yeah, they naturally fell into each other right away. It was
very intimate for people who've never even been on a date, who've known each other 2 days.
2 days.
The way he was touching her, and I was like, ooh, that's a, like at least fire a drink first.
Yes.
I'm not saying making out is nothing, but but just, she's young and impressionable.
Yeah.
But she's been dating the Nepo baby. So she
looks
understands.
like a teenager, but
she looks like a
what is she, 25?
She's like a little bitty baby. She's a little itty bitty person.
And there's a new person joining.
Oh.
So we'll see it next week.
Who's the new person?
It's a new guy, and he looks like a major partier.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and they're like, how many people have you had sex with today? And he's like, 3.
Oh, God. Yeah, he's going to be, now he's probably probably going to make a move on Lexi. I'm excited to see this.
Let's get some action.
Let's get some action.
Let's get some competition for Lexi.
Yes.
Lexi gives me wood. All right.
Okay. So till next
time.
Till next time.
We're out from the Hamptons.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.